I'll call the Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 Environmental Resources Committee to order. We will start with standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we can move on to item number 3, public comment. I have 3 that signed up, so to keep in the 15-minute window, I'll give 5 minutes to each one. We will start with Cindy Nelson. If you could please step forward and state your name and municipality, please.
My name is Cindy Nelson. I live in Stratford in Eau Plaine County. And I'm here so I moved up here from the Lake Geneva area about 8 months ago and found out at last meeting here with a different group that the wind turbine project in my area is Lynn Farms has signed a lease agreement with Alliant for 3 of the largest turbines to go. So my property kind of cuts into their cornfield, and I found out that you want to put 3 of the largest turbines right next to my house. And we're kind of getting to be a populated area, and this was not, when you purchase a house in an area where a project is going on, which this has been going on for quite a while, just now with Alliant, and it was with a different company prior. The owner selling a house has to disclose if there's any kind of projects going on in the area. And we had seen signs all over that said no wind turbines, and we questioned the realtor. We went online on AI. My husband was doing a bunch of research, and at that time the courts had knocked it down to no. And then their realtor was coming back with no answers from the owners who were selling the house. So we went ahead and bought the house. And then I find out that Alliant Energy now is signing up all the farms in my area. I have been going house to house. I've gone between 80 and 100 houses between Marshfield and Edgar. And I've just been driving all over, making sure everybody's aware of what is going on. But we moved up here for coming up retirement. We're in the farm fields. There's animals everywhere. It's very peaceful. That's why we came up this direction. And I just cannot tell you how disappointing this is to have your life. We put all our money into this house. We're big. We grow a lot of fruit trees and garden. And most of these committees are so for this. Alliant is so huge. And the small amount of money that they're going to write out in that check is nothing. And when they walk away after all is said and done, they're going to walk away and laugh at everybody, and then we are going to suffer. There are so many people that I've been talking to, going house to house. They live there forever. They're so upset. Nobody wants it. Like I said, I've been just going out and handing out information. Do you know this is what's going on? The permits are supposed to be going through this year. The roads are not gravel. They're not made for large trucks. And I mean, it's going to be right next to my house. There is so many side effects that people can get. I won't know until after it's all said and done. My neighbors, it's kind of weird. My neighbors know nothing. But if you go down 2 streets to Galvin, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows which farms have signed. And you can't take the money with you, and you're gonna destroy everybody's lives. I really think everybody, so it may not be by your house or your house, it's gonna be by my house. And I'm the one who's gonna have to deal with it. And they're the largest wind turbines. My house is gonna look like this, and the base of it is just huge. I just want
30 seconds.
everybody to start talking about it and really realize what is going on here. Nobody's gonna get benefits from it. Please, please, everybody just think about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Wendy Rogowski. If you will please come up and state your name and your municipality, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Rogowski, and I live in the town of Green Valley here in Marathon County. I'm here today to respectfully ask this committee to pause recommendation to the board to move forward with the vote on the updated comprehensive plan until it includes clear language prohibiting industrial scale utility use on agricultural land. This comprehensive plan is more than a procedural document. It's the long-term vision for how we preserve our farmland, protect property rights, and maintain the rural character that defines Marathon County. Once adopted, it guides zoning decisions, conditional use permits, and future development patterns for decades. Agricultural land in Marathon County isn't vacant land waiting for industrial conversion. It's working land. It supports family farms, local food production, and our rural economy. When ag parcels are converted to industrial utility use, whether for substations, large-scale energy facilities, or associated infrastructure, those acres are effectively removed from agricultural production for generations. This isn't a debate today about being for or against any specific industry. It's about land use compatibility and long-term planning integrity. Industrial utility uses are fundamentally different in scale, impact, and intensity from traditional agricultural operations. They bring permanent infrastructure, heavy construction, road impacts, and in many cases, multi-decade easements that change the character of entire townships. This comprehensive plan should provide clarity. If the intent of this county is to preserve prime ag land, then this document should explicitly state that industrial utility uses are not appropriate on parcels designated for agricultural preservation. Without that clarity, the burden shifts to towns and residents to fight project by project, creating conflict, uncertainty, and costly litigation, which we are already experiencing. Pausing this vote doesn't stop progress, it strengthens it. Taking the time to insert clear protective language ensures transparency, consistency, and fairness for landowners, municipalities, and developers alike. It also honors the trust residents place in our county board to safeguard the long-term interests of the county. Clear language prohibiting industrial utility use on ag parcels would align the plan with preservation goals many residents believe it already represents. I again respectfully request that you recommend a pause on the upcoming vote. Recommend revision of the language and adopt a plan that truly protects ag land in Marathon County. Thank you again for allowing me to speak today, for your time and your service to the residents of Marathon County.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Becky Tykrow. You will please step up, say your name and municipality, please.
Hello, my name is Becky Tykrow. I'm owner of Chansey Hill Farm, a barn wedding venue east of Wausau, and I live in the town of Easton. I'm here to come back again. My first time talking about this was after I was actually working with Shad Harvey in the zoning department for personal reasons. I was, working on my business, and I'm building a commercial kitchen, and, we're going through zoning things, and I was previously zoned through the town of Easton. 10 years ago, we moved that over to the county. So I've been working with the county. So, and I'm learning, this is, I'm a little bit new to the scene, and I'm like, oh, due process and all the things and the permits and all that. So I feel like I've got an education. I've been watching and working with the county board for about 6 years now. I've gotten pretty involved with getting some of you elected, door knocking, just coming to these. I remember the Community for All drama back in 2020 through 22 and, all that. So here's my point. I brought this up as an issue that is absolutely affecting me, but I'm not a NIMBY. I don't know if you know the term NIMBY, not in my backyard, and that's my only issue that I care about because it's affecting me personally. Well, that's usually what engages people into the fight. Morally, ethically, economically, I have done deep dives on this, and it's been a passionate thing that I've been researching for some time now. This is bad for Marathon County. This is bad for Wisconsin. This is bad, period. These are land grabs. There's huge subsidies backing these up. That's why they can move forward. That's why they're NDAs. If you don't know what an NDA is, a non-disclosure agreement, these good neighbor agreements. Why do we have to have these hush-hush NDAs? It's because if word gets out, then you get public uproar, because the average person does not want this in their community. And a lot of these policies get pushed by people through urban areas, is heavy populated. A lot of you represent Wausau, but the rural residents are not being heard on this. This affects us big time, but it also is gonna affect you. When you wanna get out of the city and go buy some farmland and build a nice, beautiful house and get a little space for yourself, and build a beautiful home and not have a neighbor breathing down your back, you're not gonna have farmland to choose from. That's just one point. But here's my issue. I've been referenced as part of a small, noisy group that doesn't get the big picture. And I am completely offended by that, because that's only a small group, because we have not hardly expressed what's going on, and the public doesn't know. You have a public hearing here next Thursday, and I am working hard to get a lot of notice out, and anyone I've talked to is uproared about this. So my point is I don't want this comprehensive plan to move forward. I asked for this in December. 3 or 4 of you came up to me after the ERC meeting in December and said, we had no idea this was happening in Marathon County. And I'm like, that's bogus. How can something so big and so vast and so much money and so aggressive be moving through the county, and the county board doesn't even know about it? So I've been asking since December that we get some zoning changes and better regulation. We obviously have to update the comp zone from 10 years ago. We weren't dealing with solar and wind 10 years ago. There's no language to address this. Now we've got AB Bill 483 that just made it through the Ag Committee on a state level, and that's for local control. What do you guys have in your zoning code to fall back on for local control? There's been no resolution. The only resolution that went through came from me and my constituents, and you guys voted on it as a full board. You moved it through to get the lobbying committee to, right, Lance? It's been moved through, and it's saying we want the local control on a county level. But what local control? What is that spelled out? What does that look like? So I've been asking my district supervisor, and I'm hearing crickets. I'm not getting answers back. We're sending emails. There was supposed to be Alliant coming and educating the board. There was supposed to be more public forums, more discussions. So there is one next Thursday, but how is there gonna be time to talk about and hear from the public and develop something? And I know very well you guys wanna move this comp plan through before the election. I know that's how that goes. I'm asking you, I talked to the zoning department. I spoke with Shad and his members of the zoning department. There is no pressure. There is no deadline to pass this. It doesn't have to be passed. The old one stays. So as far as I can see, we have not done due diligence to work on the comp plan, put in some language that protects, or whatever you feel and what the constituents feel, get something worked out. I do not see that anything has been developed, so it should not be passed until we can work on something. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to item number 4, the approval of both the January 22nd, 2026 and the February 3rd, 2026 committee minutes. What are your wishes? Supervisor Seefeld with the motion to approve, Supervisor Schoenborn with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to item number 5, operational functions required by statute, ordinance, or resolutions. I will now open the public hearing. Everyone, I'd like to ask everybody to please mute your phone. The Marathon County Environmental Resources Committee is now meeting in public hearing on the location, plan, specifications, and purpose of the following projects. 5A1, Tim Vreeland on behalf of Brian and Beth Delahunt, General Agriculture to Rural Estate, Town of Easton. Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bonnie Lake and Kenneth and Mary Lake Trust, Farmland Preservation to General Agriculture and Rural Residential, Town of Eau Plaine. Item number 5A3, Tim Vreeland on behalf of John Fellons, Farmland Preservation to Rural Residential and General Agriculture, Town of Hull. I would like to introduce the members of the committee. I am Supervisor Ritter. To my left is Supervisor Seefeld. Then we have Supervisor Drabeck, Supervisor Schoenborn, Supervisor Kroll, Supervisor Kurth, our farm representative, Tom Miller, and our town's representative, Marilyn Bend. Supervisor DeBro, I see is online. And for the record, Supervisor Unger did contact me a couple weeks ago, so she's excused. Also present, we have Lori Miskimmons, the director of CPZ. Okay, so she's not here. Kirsty's not here. Shad Harvey's here. Land Resources Manager, Nicole Deloney, Office Manager, Garrett Poggle, the Land Use Specialist. The establishment of the ERC committee is required by law for purposes of administration of county ordinances and land conservation programs. This committee must follow state laws and local ordinances as written. The committee cannot change or ignore any part of the ordinances or state laws, but must apply the laws as written. The purpose of this committee is to hear and decide on proposed ordinances and ordinance revisions, rezoning petitions, and provide direction on land conservation and planning programs. The ERC committee will give a full and fair hearing to any person applying for a rezone petition. A tape recording is being made of the meeting, which will assist with preparation of written hearing minutes. The committee is interested in hearing all pertinent comments and questions. Each hearing will be opened by reading the public notice and allowing staff to present a staff report, including evidence from any on-site inspection. The applicant and anyone wishing to testify will be sworn in and allowed to give testimony. Witnesses will be called in order of those. First in favor, second opposed, and then third as interested may appear. The committee may ask questions of the zoning staff and applicant. It is necessary that we set a reasonable time limit on individual statements and on the overall length of the hearing. To promote orderly discussion, anyone wishing to present oral testimony or ask questions relating to the hearing should state your name and present your testimony or question so it becomes part of the official record. We request you avoid repetition. Once the committee has all the necessary facts, the chairman will close the hearing, allowing no further testimony, and the committee will deliberate and decide in front of the public whether the applicant has met the standards in the ordinance. No additional testimony from the public is allowed during the deliberation. However, the committee may question staff for purposes of clarification. After a decision is made, the committee will proceed to the next hearing. Many of the decisions made by the committee are a recommendation to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors, who will take up the matter at a future county board meeting. Contact staff for more information regarding the county board process. The committee will now hear the application of Tim Vreeland on behalf of Brian and Beth Delahunt, General Agriculture to Rural Estate in the town of Easton. Garrett, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right.
All right, so this is for Brian and Beth Delahunt, petition to rezone land, staff report March 3rd, 2026 for the Environmental Resources Committee. The petitioner is Tim Vreeland, located at 6103 Dawn Street, Wisconsin, 54476, Weston, Wisconsin, I'm sorry. Property owner is Brian and Beth Delahunt at 1715 Fairmount Street, Wausau, Wisconsin, 54403. Area proposed to be rezoned is located north of the intersection of Eau Claire River Road and County Road Z. The petition of Tim Vreeland on behalf of Brian and Beth Delahunt to amend the General Code of Ordinances for Marathon County, Chapter 17 zoning code to rezone lands from GA General Agriculture to RE Rural Estate, described as all of Lot 2 of CSM 20193, located in the southeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 14, Township 29 North, Range 9 East, Town of Easton. Area proposed to be rezoned to RE Rural Estate is described as Lot 1 and Lot 2 of the preliminary CSM, parent parcel number as shown. The Town of Easton Town Board met on February 9th, 2026. Marathon County Environmental Resource Committee is meeting today, March 3rd, 2026 at 3 p.m. A legal advertisement was published in the Wausau Daily Herald. Notice of the zoning change request was also sent by regular mail to adjacent property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. On February 9th, 2026, the Town of Easton Town Board recommended approval to Marathon County's Environmental Resources Committee. Staff recommendation, the rezone meets all the zoning district standards as it relates to size, frontage, access, and dimension. The rezone also appears to be consistent with the purpose and intent of the town's comprehensive plan and as indicated by the town resolution. Based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone request meets all the rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to Marathon County Board of Supervisors. Should the rezone be approved by Marathon County Board of Supervisors, CPZ staff recommend that the town update its comprehensive plan if applicable.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Garrett? Comments? No? Okay. I will ask, is there anybody in the room or online that would like to speak in favor of item 5A1? Again, is there anybody that would like to speak in favor of item 5A1? Is there anybody who would like to speak against item 5A1? One more time, is there anybody that would like to speak against item 5A1? And I will call one time, is there anybody that would like to speak as interested in item 5A1? Seeing none, I'll declare this hearing closed and the committee will deliberate. What are your wishes? Supervisor Drabek.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to approve the rezone of Brian and Beth Delahunt from general agriculture to rural estate based on the findings by the conclusions, sorry, messed that up, but based on staff report and the conclusions of law and also the town's recommendation.
All right, Supervisor Drabek with the motion to approve. Do I have a second? Supervisor Kurth with the second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5A2, Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bonnie Lake and Kenneth and Mary Lake Trust, farmland preservation to general agriculture and rural residential, Town of Eau Plaine.
All right, this is for Bonnie Leak, Kenneth Leak and Mary Leak Trust, and Dan Leak, petition to rezone land, staff report March 3rd, 2026 for the Environmental Resource Committee. Petitioner is Tim Vreeland, located at 6103 Dawn Street, Weston, Wisconsin, 54476. Property owners are Kenneth and Mary Leak Trust at 11250 Wildflower Lane, Sister Bay, Wisconsin, 54234. And Dan Leak at 210640 State Highway 97 Stratford, Wisconsin, 54484. Area proposed to be rezoned is located just south of the intersection of State Highway 97 and Balsam Road. The petition of Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bonnie Leak and Kenneth Leak and Mary Leak Trust to amend the General Code of Ordinance for Marathon County, Chapter 17 zoning code to rezone lands from farmland preservation to farmland preservation to GA General Agriculture and rural residential, described as all of Lot 2 of CSM 19224 and Lot 1 of CSM 94553878, located in the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 36, Township 27 North, Range 3 East, Town of Eau Plaine. Area proposed to be rezoned to GA General Agriculture is described as Lot 1, and the area proposed to be rezoned to RR Rural Residential is described as Lot 2 of the preliminary CSM, parent parcel numbers as listed. The Town of Eau Plaine Town Board met on February 10th, 2026, and Marathon County's Environmental Resources Committee is meeting today, March 3rd, 2026 at 3 p.m. A legal advertisement was published in the Wausau Daily Herald. Notice of zoning change request was also sent by regular mail to adjacent property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. On February 10th, 2026, the Eau Plaine Town Board recommended approval to Marathon County's Environmental Resources Committee. Staff recommendation, the rezone meets all the zoning district standards as it relates to size, frontage, access, and dimension. The rezone also appears to be consistent with the purpose and intent of the town's comprehensive plan and as indicated by a town resolution. Based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone request meets all the rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors. Should the rezone be approved by Marathon County Board of Supervisors, CPZ staff recommend that the town update its comprehensive plan for the zoning change if applicable.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Garrett? Okay, seeing none, I will call. Is there anybody that would like to speak for item 5A2? Again, is there anybody that would like to speak for item 5A2? Is there anybody that'd like to speak against item 5A2? One more time, is there anybody that would like to speak against item 5A2? Calling once, is there anybody that would like to speak as interested in item 5A2? Seeing none, I'll declare this hearing closed and the committee will deliberate. Supervisor Seefeld.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make a motion on behalf of Bonnie Leak and Kenneth and Mary Leak Trust to amend the Code of Ordinance of Marathon County, Chapter 17, Code Ordinance, land from farm preservation to GA agricultural and rural residential in the town of Eau Plaine, and the conclusions of law and the recommendations from the staff, and forward it to the county board.
Supervisor Seefeld with the motion to approve. Do I have a second? Supervisor Schoenborn with the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 5A3, Tim Vreeland on behalf of John Fellons, farmland preservation to rural residential and general agriculture in the town of Hull.
All right, so this one might look a little bit different in your packet than the staff report I'm going to present. This one didn't, the one in the packet did not have the resolution and the meeting dates put in it. We received that after the packet was sent out. So this is a staff report that does include the resolution information and the meeting date. That did end up in the packet, in the amended packet, and then we have a copy on the table in front of you guys as well. So this is for John Fellons, petition to rezone land, staff report March 3rd, 2026 for the Environmental Resources Committee. The petitioner is Tim Vreeland at 6103 Dawn Street, Weston, Wisconsin, 54476. Property owner is John Fellons at 228250 Rock Elm Lane, Abbotsford, Wisconsin, 54405. Area proposed to be rezoned is located north of the intersection of Rock Elm Lane and Elderberry Road. The petition of Tim Vreeland on behalf of John Fellens to amend the General Code of Ordinance for Marathon County, Chapter 17 zoning code to rezone lands from FP Farmland Preservation to RR Rural Residential and GA General Agriculture, described as Lot 1 of CSM number 13182571119, located in the southeast quarter of the fractional northeast quarter of Section 3, Township 28 North, Range 2 East, Town of Hull. Area proposed to be rezoned to GA General Agriculture is described as Lot 1, and the area proposed to be rezoned to RR Rural Residential is described as Lot 2 of the preliminary CSM, parent parcel number as listed. The Town of Hull Town Board met on February 11, 2026. Marathon County Environmental Resource Committee is meeting today, March 3rd, 2026 at 3 p.m. A legal advertisement was published in the Wausau Daily Herald. Notice of zoning change request was also sent by regular mail to adjacent property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. On February 11, 2026, the Town of Hull Town Board recommended approval to Marathon County's Environmental Resources Committee. Staff recommendation, the rezone meets all the zoning district standards as it relates to size, frontage, access, and dimension. The rezone also appears to be consistent with the purpose and intent of the town's comprehensive plan and as indicated by town resolution. Based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone request meets all the rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors. Should the rezone be approved by Marathon County Board of Supervisors, CPZ staff recommend that the town update its comprehensive plan to reflect the zoning change if applicable.
All right, does anybody have any questions on this one for Garrett? Okay, so I will call. Is there anybody that would like to speak for item 5A3? Once again, is there anybody that would like to speak for 5A3? Anybody would like to speak against item 5A3? One more time, is there anybody that would like to speak against item 5A3? Only once, is there anybody that would like to speak as interested in item 5A3? Seeing none, I'll declare this hearing closed and the committee will deliberate. What are your wishes? Supervisor Kroll. Hey, we only got a couple of meetings left with you, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the petition of John Fellens from Farmland Preservation to Rural Residential and General Agriculture in the Town of Hull. This recommendation is based on the town's approval, staff's recommendation, findings of fact, and conclusions of law.
Okay, Supervisor Kroll with a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Supervisor Schoenborn with the second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5B, we have none. Item 5C, it looks like we have none. Item 5D, review and possible action. 5D1, Hidden Ridge Estates preliminary plot in the town of Mosinee.
I'm here to speak on the Hidden Ridge Estates preliminary plat in the town of Mosinee. My name's Dave Decker. I'm the county surveyor, so I do the review process for this. Going over the staff report, survey, the plat complies with Chapter 236 of the Wisconsin statutes, Chapter 87 of the Wisconsin Administrative Code, and Chapter 18 of the Marathon County Code and Ordinances regarding subdivisions and mapping. The plat is in the town of Mosinee and is town zoned. All lots being created will be required to meet town zoning standards. I did speak with the surveyor today as well. The town has approved the preliminary plat as of this week. Environmental conditions, the stormwater management plan was included with the preliminary plat for the proposed extension of Hidden Ridge Lane. There is a short extension of that road. There was an erosion control plan included with that, and there are no wetlands identified in the platted area. Soil tests for sanitary sewer included in the packet have pits shown for each lot, which is required by our land division ordinance, as well as descriptions that correlate to what is commonly expected in those soil types. Soil types for all proposed lots are consistent with conventional systems for the most part. And all proposed lots will have access to a dedicated and improved public road. Prior to the submittal of Hidden Ridge Estates preliminary plat for approval, concept plat meetings took place, including representatives from Marathon County and the town of Mosinee. Design concepts and plans were discussed and agreed upon by all parties involved. This preliminary plat reflects discussions with CPZ staff and town officials. So based on that information provided, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee approve the proposed preliminary plat of Hidden Ridge Estates. I do have a hard copy if anyone would be interested in looking at a hard copy. I printed one off today. And I will say that ERC's decision is final. There is no requirement to go through county board.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Decker? Any comments, concerns?
Mr. Vreeland is also available. The surveyor is also available online, by phone if anyone has any questions.
Okay. And no questions? Okay, I guess, what are your wishes? Do we want to have a motion? Supervisor Draybeck?
Hey, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the Hidden Ridge Estates preliminary plat.
Supervisor Draybeck with a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Supervisor Kurt with a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. We'll move on to item number 6, educational presentations, outcome monitoring reports, and committee discussion. 6A1, the 2025 County Forestry Annual Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is just an informational item. This annual report is something that we have to file every year for the forestry division within our department, and it needs to be approved by the Forestry Rec Committee, which it was this afternoon, and then it is sent through to the county board as an informational item, so you'll see it in your county board packet, or you may just see it as an email as well that this has been passed by the Forestry Rec Committee. So we decided to put it on your agenda as well, just so that you're aware of it and see it. Like I said, it doesn't have to go any further than this, but this forestry annual report talks about the amount of timber sales that we've had throughout the year, the net income to the county based on what we've had, and then our expenses. So the net timber sale revenue for Marathon County this year was $398,342. We did, with our amount of money that we had, the program cost a total of $471,534 with expenses of $330. So we brought in about $141,000. Of that, we need to pay the townships their stipend. And then we have about $93,000 left that will go to repay the loan that the county board kind of designated of timber forest sales or timber sales that will go towards the mat system of the ice arena that was approved last year. So it was supposed to be $55,000 this year and $55,000 next year. We're gonna hopefully work with our finance department to just take that excess and put it towards the 110 total with less revenue next year, because we never know with our timber sales quite what we're gonna get each year with their 3-year contracts, and the weather plays a big portion of that. So we'll take care of that. We continue to receive hours from the DNR. I'm not going to go through all of this, so if you have any specific questions, you can let me know, but wanted to just point out, it talks about how much land we have in county forest holdings, which is about 32,000. It shows our 10-year average of the gross revenue that Marathon County has brought in from timber sales. We established 9 sales last year, sold 7 of those 9, so we have 2 more to sell this fall that we'll put out for bid. The township's payment that I mentioned before was in total $56,906. If you want to know exactly what townships got what, it was in the packet today for the Forestry Rec Committee, or we can email that to you as well. We continue to work on scarifying 25 acres to replant seedlings. We do our general maintenance that we have to do, and the forest management that we're required to do by sustainable forestry guidelines. And then a lot of the other things we have in here as far as our construction and maintenance, administration, wildlife, fisheries, recreation are general things we do every year, with just some updated numbers as far as the events that we've had at 9 Mile, and the amount of revenue we brought in. With the passes was 22,000. Mountain biking, we continue to work with Seawalk at 9 Mile, and we've offered a number of successful events out at 9 Mile. But one thing I wanted to point out under the wildlife and fisheries management is we're required every year to do every 10 years, we're required to do a engineering plan or review of our dams that meet a certain criteria. The one dam that we have is our burn dam, and we started this 2 years ago, the process of evaluation of that dam. We finally got it back from the DNR with the final report. We have just a few minor things to do on that dam, but it is in good shape, and we'll get those things completed this year. This looks back at the last year for snowmobile trails. Last year, they were only open 10 days. I'll have a full report at the end of this season. We just finally closed them, but they did get about 30 days in, which was good for our winter season. And we got new trail maps for the snowmobile clubs that we work with them. We still have 28 snowmobile clubs that we work with for the 800 plus miles that we have. And we're working with the ATV groups on the summer ATV trails at Burma, is the only county forest we have where there's ATV trails. And there's a lot more information in there in case you have any questions, but that's a quick overview for your information. And it will be, like I said, going to the county board just as information as well.
All right, thanks, Jamie. We'll move on to item 7, policy issues, discussions, and potential committee determination. 7A, farmland preservation ordinance update within Chapter 17 of the Marathon County General Code of Ordinances.
All right, so if you guys recall at the last meeting, you guys directed us to go out to the towns and solicit some of their wants, what they were looking for as it regards to updating the farmland consolidation language in the farmland preservation ordinance. So this chart is, I'm sorry, another one that's a little inaccurate. We did get another response after the packet was sent out. So in total, just a quick overview, we have 7 towns that did not respond yet. We did call each of the county's own towns, and they did say that they have this on their agenda either for the month of February or hearing it in the month of March. So we should have some more responses if the board needs that, or if the committee needs that next month. So far we have 5 towns that requested that we remove the ability to do farm consolidations from the ordinance. We have now 4. Town of Knowlton was the one that came in here late. So we have 4 towns that would like us to clarify the language for farm consolidations, stating that relocation or rotation of any kind makes a property ineligible for a farm consolidation. We have 1 that took no position, that was the town of Spencer. And then 1 that was other. The one that was other was the town of Frankfurt. They wanted some more clarification. I did speak with their chairman, Craig Schemenauer, and he stated that after our discussion, most likely the board is going to go in the direction of clarifying the language versus removing it altogether. So at this point, are there any questions so far about farm consolidation?
Yeah, well, what would that actually look like if the farm consolidations were removed?
So then at that point, it would remove the ability for property owners to separate that farmstead that was created prior to January 1st of 2014 from the larger property. If they met all the standards of the farm consolidation, they would have to go through that rezone process. By doing that, it gives the towns a little bit more say in how the property is divided off, where it has to go through that public hearing and then come to this committee and then county board again.
Mr. Chair, if I may add.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, exactly what Garrett had just said. It's really, everybody already is allowed to split. They just have to, it's what path they choose to follow when it comes to splitting their property. A lot of these splits do require rezones. In the case of the farm consolidation language being removed, everybody would have to go through a rezone. There wouldn't be this pathway for somebody not to go through the rezone process. So Yeah, honestly, with the feedback we received, it's pretty close, which is kind of what we assumed it would be. But we're just trying to get a little bit of direction on continuing our draft of the ordinance, so we can keep moving forward. Honestly, it's a committee decision on how we want to move forward, so we're just hoping to get some input from you guys. Marilyn?
And this only pertains to zoned towns.
To county zone towns, correct.
Thank you.
And this applies for the towns that are farmland preservation zone and the ones that don't have it, because this would also affect their ability to do that in general agriculture.
Any other questions or comments? Supervisor Drabeck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure this gives, if this would be, it would just go by rezones, that would give the town more local control. Am I correct?
Right, if you, as a committee, decide that you would like that option removed. If we clarify the language, it states very plainly that the relocation of a structure, even if that structure was built in this spot at one point prior to that, once you move it, it's now ineligible for that farm consolidation. So, yeah, it would give, by removing it, it gives the towns, they see all of the land divisions that are under 10 acres now for rezones versus some of them.
Hey, any other questions or comments? Ideas? Supervisor Shanborn?
Just a quick question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many county zone department counties are there? Or, 15, 20, what are we talking about?
There's 18.
18, okay.
And we probably see anywhere from 10 to 15 of these consolidations a year.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Supervisor Kroll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gary, I think this was brought up because of a past rezone where they tried to move the zone. So in either option, if they move the house, this will not be a fix for them to still be able to do a farm consolidation.
Correct. Yep. So because of a recent court decision, we were required to allow a consolidation where the ordinance does not allow it. And then we became out of compliance with our farmland preservation ordinance. So DATCAP instructed us that we now have to update that and correct that.
So then the follow-up to that is, if we choose option one, we remove farm consolidation so nobody can ever choose to do a farm consolidation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's correct.
So, yeah, my thought on that is, I think we should give farmers the option. But I get, there is some niche scenarios where the town wants to have full control over this, but we've been trying to keep more farms into the farm preservation. So with this option, I think we should keep it. That's just my thought.
Mr. Chair, if I may add something too.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to make this point out too. So farm consolidations, I fully understand are very confusing all around. One thing to consider, and we just went through this practice, if you guys recall, where we sent a bunch of small parcels for rezoning that were no longer eligible in the farm preservation districts. It was kind of that large batch. Those are largely due to farm consolidations. The kind of the weird provision with farm consolidations is, once that property is split, it goes to somebody that's no longer associated with the farm, it's technically not allowed to be in farm preservation anymore. So generally, that cleanup happens once every 10 years when we kind of go through the parcel. So there's kind of a balance here as far as, it's very difficult to keep track of those, and we can't prevent a sale from happening. So once they're split off, it's, they can sell it at any time, and then it's no longer eligible to be in farm pres. Then there's cleanup on the county side that has to be done associated with them. Now, whether or not the committee chooses to keep one way or the other, we'll continue to do what we've been doing. I just wanted to make you aware of that piece of information as well. I think we had over the course of, some of them were from consolidations from years past. But we had around, was it 200 total parcels, something like that?
234 just in Farm Pres.
Not all of them were farm consolidations, but a significant chunk of them were. It makes it very hard to track and figure out, is it eligible to stay in Farm Pres? Is it not eligible? And you gotta it's just a tracking game. But I thought that would be a piece of information you guys would like as well.
Anybody else? Supervisor Kroll.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. That was a great follow-up, Shad, and ripped apart my argument, so.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I think actually, like, option one actually sounds more appealing now.
Okay, anybody else? Questions, comments? Anybody want to make a motion? I don't know, because they're looking for direction.
Mr. Chair, one other thing before we kind of move on to any direction you want to give us. There was one other item that Shad and I wanted to bring forward as far as uses in the Farm Pres district.
Yeah, so right now, if you recall during the comprehensive update, we did add a section for battery energy storage systems. They're becoming a larger topic. When it comes to farmland preservation areas, so we're talking about the farmland preservation ordinance right now. Our code, we didn't include those in because we're going through the process of updating that right now. So we wanted to kind of get the committee's thoughts on whether or not we include those to be eligible to happen in the farm preservation areas. One thing I wanted to kind of touch base with, our code right now separates battery energy storage systems into two categories, commercial and private. The commercial is anything 1 megawatt or higher, or is for, sending the energy into the grid. Private is anything that's used on site. So like if you had a house, you could have a small battery energy storage to power your house. That could be private, none of it's going back to the grid. One of the considerations we thought, we're ultimately DATCAP's the approver of our farm preservation ordinance. And we are currently trying to figure out DATCAP's stance on battery energy storage. I think the way I'm understanding it right now is it would be a bit of a struggle to get the commercial ones in the farm preservation ordinance. But the private ones are something that they would consider to allow in the ordinance because it's, a farm could have a backup energy source or something like that. It could be used for something on site. So we wanted to touch base with the committee to see, what direction we can ask DATCAP, a bunch of questions before we submit, which we generally do. So hopefully we know the answer before we submit our proposed language. But we just wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on that as well.
Are you guys looking for any kind of motion today, or?
I think it's just more general direction at this point, and then what we're planning to do is with the guidance that we receive from you, we're gonna finish drafting the ordinance, and then we'll bring it back for you guys to review. So by no means, if you guys give us one direction and we draft it and you find out you don't like it, we'll come to you before we send to DATCAP, because we'll ask for a motion basically to say, yeah, we're good, please send this to DATCAP for their review.
Okay, so what kind of direction does the committee want to give? Yeah, gather more information? Supervisor Kroll, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, the first thing is, back to the farm consolidation piece, is that we're missing a lot of the inputs from the towns. That's the first piece. Half of them, maybe a little less than half, hasn't responded. So maybe just like, yeah, I guess it's more clarification there from them would be helpful. And in regards to the battery storage, I think, yeah, if we were to run by something by DATCAP first, right? Can we just ask them what?
Yes, and we are in that process. We just haven't got the responses back yet. So we did. We kind of wanted to bring it up, start those discussions with you guys, because I know sometimes they're they're complicated issues, they are. So we just wanted to kind of get your general thoughts and get the discussion going.
So I think, Chair Gibbs.
Shad, if I'm not mistaken, I think there also was some legislation that regulated or centered around farmland preservation and battery storage and commercial systems as far as whether or not they could continue to receive farmland preservation credit if they were in, had a battery storage system, commercial battery storage system, and also wind energy and also solar. I don't know what the status of that bill was. Do you know?
Offhand, that's something I can look into to get a little bit better understanding. My initial thoughts is, if somebody, just like any farm preservation use that isn't eligible to have credits, like wind and solar, a lot of the times where that footprint is, they're not eligible for the credits. Doesn't mean the property can't be zoned to farm preservation. They just can't receive the tax credits associated with it. So, but I can look more specifically into that one and report back.
Anybody else? So I think it would be fair to say, gather more of that information and maybe try to push some of these other towns that didn't respond, see if we can get more of a broad view on what the townships are thinking.
Sounds good.
Does that sound fair to everybody?
So just
right.
for me to clarify, just so we make sure we're doing the right thing, we'll continue to kind of draft our ordinance, but for the farm consolidation stuff, we'll reach back out to the towns that we haven't heard from, try and solicit those comments back, bring those back to you. And then once we have those back, we'll kind of have more discussion and a final opinion on the consolidation. For the battery energy storage, I'll report back what DATCAP says once they respond. And then I'll also look into that, the regulations that we just spoke of. And then I can bring that back to the committee as well.
That sounds good. Thank you. So now we can move on to item 7B, consideration to whether to provide comment to Wisconsin Public Service Commission on American Transmission Company LLC application to upgrade the electrical grid.
Oh, that's me again, sorry. I was just writing some notes down. If you do recall, last meeting, we did kind of discuss about the American Transmission Company, LLC, with their project to put a 15 kV transmission line, basically from the city of Merrill, and then part of it through Marathon County, going into the towns of Satine, Texas, the village of Maine. So the last time we came, we had said they were going through the environmental assessment comments, and we had till around February 13th to provide comments on the environmental aspect of it. They did send out a notice of public hearing. The public hearing for the project altogether, so this is likely the last time we'd be able to provide comment on the project, is March 24th, 2025, or 2026, sorry. And it's located at the Village of Maine Village Hall. There's a virtual option if people want to listen in. I know they're going to have it on YouTube, as well as they have a Zoom meeting for participants that want to participate virtually as well. I know CPZ staff are planning on listening in just to kind of gather the comments, and we can report what we find with those comments back to the committee. And we just wanted to let you know of this is the chance if you feel a comment should be made, this would be the opportunity to do so. It's my understanding that you can submit comments anytime from now until that date. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
And that is still those two lines in the right of way, right?
So.
Not the high transmission ones, but the lower ones, right?
Yeah, so this one, they actually have two routes that were proposed. They have an east and a west route. The east route is along generally next to an existing line. It's not attached to the existing line, it's next to it, so there will be an expansion of it. And from most of the comments that we've read, that's the preferred route. Obviously, there are some that it's going next to their homes and they have concerns about that as well. But overall, the majority of the comments show that the east route, the one that follows the existing line, is the preferred route. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, thanks, Chad. Okay, we can move on to item number 8. Next meeting, March 31, 2026, and future agenda items. Committee members are asked to bring ideas for future discussion. And do we have any announcements, requests, or correspondence? All right, seeing none, item number 9, motion to adjourn. Supervisor Drabeck with the motion to adjourn. Supervisor Seifelt with the second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.